MCCARTHY books are like that.
Cormac McCarthy was amazing.
Yeah, he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah, that's, there's something about...
Last year I was in a place where a lot of chaps get to, when I was sat drinking with the moon. I daydreamed about what a life well lived looked like. Hi there. I turned 30 recently and I realised I'm not good at anything much. Spent the last decade drinking and reading, and since I've quit drinking I'm looking to see what I can get good at, or at least try. And here we are, reviewing books. So, here I am, following my dreams of not doing what I'm doing right now. I'm not really sure what I want to talk to you about, other than books. Hopefully I don't lose the run of myself and come out with some truly stinking chat. And I'll try to avoid telling you about how many steps I've done today. Today it's 50 and not good. So, dreams. Often I thought it'd be carpentry, writing, travel. But a lot of the time I just want to talk to other people about books that I was reading. So that's what I'm going to do, and a few other things maybe. Or I might delete this video once I've come to my senses. Anyway, here's my review of Blood Meridian. Male nudity. Why is it allowed for me and not for women? I don't know. Probably the same reason for why it's weird if I piss it and down. Long dead people said it's a no, and despite not believing in ghosts, we're still too scared to change the rules. Our stinky dead rule us. Want to know what else rules, but doesn't also stink? Cormac McCarthy. A bit like Time Crisis 2, we return to an old classic for old feelings, old lovely feelings, such as I'm good actually, and avoid the less lovely ones like dead. Is debt a feeling? Certainly feels like one. Blood Meridian is a classic. I'd read that online, something you should read. Probably not the best inroad to McCarthy, but it's where I started. Like playing music on a vinyl player, I like my books to be expensive and inconvenient, and so whilst this book was reasonably priced, despite what the shopfront facade suggested, this book was very much that. I started reading this book because the man in that fancy bookshop told me that it was a total fever dream. No one likes fever dreams, especially not me. Mine usually include a recurring nightmare about failing exams, meaning I won't get the job I wanted at uni. Funny how I dream about what might have happened if I did fail. Paradise. I read this book between February and May this year, which is incredibly impressive, and if you don't think so, we'll keep that to yourself. I watched a few online reviews, and they seem to relate only to the Judge Holden, this mysterious character that is maybe the devil, or maybe a part of the main character's psyche, or maybe just a psychopath academic in the time of jocks with glocks. He was interesting, yeah. I loved the intro scene and genuinely laughed when he tells the main character that he'd never before met the preacher that he'd just condemned. It's good stuff, funny, dark. What I was interested though was how it was written, and the character of the people that he focused on didn't answer. Did you know that the words didn't answer arise 26 times over this novel? That's a lot, and frankly I think an editor of any upcoming writer would bang them into the dirt for that. But Cormac shows us something about the people in this time. Profound distrust and unavoidably preconceived notions of their fellow man. In this book, America feels busy but barren, lawless and lonely. Some sections really blew me away, and I've tried to animate them in a few frames in a clever typewriter style way, but I have a feeling it looks... Anyway, we plough on. So many of these passages put forth a cynical and frankly morbid environment, but that's not what stuck with me all these months later. In this world of violence, there are little moments of kindness. One section reads as follows. In the morning, they ate flapjacks with molasses, and the herder saddled up and moved on. When he found his meal, there was a small fibre bag tied to the animal's rope, and inside the bag there was a cup full of dried beans and some peppers and an old Green River knife with a handle made of string. That's the truth of Blood Meridian, I thought. This book gives you the impression that nothing matters, and of course that's probably correct, that the world was and is a chaotic hell. But that doesn't mean we're all devils like the Judge. It was the main character though, the kid, not the Judge, whom I really loved. This is the only story I've read where the main character becomes a rarely mentioned side character after a while. The closer I got to the end, I wondered if I'd ever related to a character more than the kid. Confused, almost violently so. Not so much striking out and wandering into my fate. Listening, always listening, rarely saying a word, certainly not many that we listen to. Sidelined in his own story. There's a beauty in listening and being alone, like the kid. Listening is as good as being alone. Might as well be the same thing. What happens to the kid in the end is unspoiled to us, the reader, and horrifying to the onlookers. A definitive end in many ways, and I think it can only be death. Not just the kid's death, our death. If we're lucky, we'll get a final embrace too at the end, just like the kid. I just hope it's not from the Judge. I think Cormac is probably one of my favourite writers now. How do I know he's my favourite writer if I've only read one of his books? Same reason I know Steven Seagal is my favourite actor, without finishing one of his films. raw talent is immediate. I'm using this channel to see what I can get into. Come and join me. Maybe you're feeling the same way. Let's do this together. Maybe you're already good at things, and if so, well, usually I'd say scrambling, but you might need some help, so please come along. Anyway, that's Blood Meridian finished. I'm not going to make it my personality or anything. Can't wait to bore people at parties and at work about a book they will not buy and will not read. Thanks for watching.